Welcome back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. In this segment, we will continue our conversation with Mr. Simon Chang, who is a professional photographer from Taiwan, but who currently lives in Prague. And Simon, we'll talk about your original, beginning, your pursuit of interest in photography in the earlier segment. Now we're going to continue. Now you live in Prague, but you do, have a very strong Taiwanese heritage. You're born here, you grew up, and you went to school here. How does that experience with that, background, help you in terms of interpreting what you see, now in Europe, in Prague, of people, of places? How does that help you in terms of your development, continued development as a photographer?
Right. So first of all, it's like every time I met some new friends, right?
Yes.
I mean, in Prague or somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
And so, nice meeting you. I'm Simon. I'm from Taiwan.
Yes.
And the first question they came up with was, so how was the tsunami thing? Well, I was here by the beach.
Okay.
I said, no, I'm from Taiwan, not Thailand.
Thailand.
And it's kind of confusing for the foreigners, right?
Exactly.
But back to your questions, it's like, first of all, I always remember another image. The first time I went to Europe,
yes,
or almost everywhere in the souvenir shops in Europe, you will see like kind of product, like three monkeys.
All right.
Right, it's like kind of like sculpture or like souvenirs anyway.
All right.
And the first one like covers his eyes, right, and the second one covers his ears, and then the mouth.
Yes.
And we all knew that it's like it came from the Confucius. Like if it's impolite, right, you're not allowed to see or to look or to listen to or to say it. And the first time I saw I spent a couple of months in Prague already.
Okay.
At that time.
All right.
Right, and I started to do some like photography projects seriously about the people in different environment. And I'm always thinking about that three monkeys I saw.
Okay.
So it seems it's kind of my heritage, like inside of me.
All right.
It's kind of the blood thing, right? It's like the environment, exactly like what you just mentioned. The environment you grew up with, the education you receive from your families, from the society, from the schools, right?
Yes.
And I would say for us, it's kind of stronger than other culture. Like for example, it's like I told myself, okay, if I saw a couple, right, kissing on the street, that's beautiful, right?
Yes.
And if I'm one of the monkeys, right, and at that moment I should just walk away.
Yes.
Right?
Don't look.
Don't look. But I think it's like so many stories, like around us, right? So you got to. I wouldn't say it's kind of conflict, but it's like reflecting.
Of course.
So it's like I just placed myself in the totally like foreign culture, like everything is new. Yeah, but I'm still myself.
Of course.
So I would say every second it's kind of you're like digesting your own mother culture and the confrontation with those input, and you're receiving all the time.
Okay.
So I think that's the most exciting part. You're thinking all the time, like the way you came from, and where are you going to? So where are you now?
Okay.
Who I am, back to the first beginning.
Of course.
And the question I try to ask myself.
But living in Prague today, I don't suppose that there is a large Taiwanese student population. Is it?
We still have some. But not so many, to be honest.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm sure out of that limited population of Taiwanese, whether living there, working there, or going to school, even fewer are studying photography.
I suppose I'm the only one.
You're probably the only one, yes.
There was another girl, but I mean, still, I'm the first one, I suppose.
Okay. There might have been, just a few others. I don't suppose it's many others from Taiwan who are studying photography in Prague today, right?
Right.
So in a sense, you represent like an unofficial ambassador from Taiwan to the people that you meet in the Czech Republic. Whether it's your classmates, whether it's your subject of your photography, or your friends or colleagues or whatever. So in a way, do you think that you are using your photography intentionally or otherwise as a way of establishing a dialogue between these two societies that are both very rich in their culture? Do you think that's a way, maybe a way for you to look at your works, as a way of dialogue between the two sides?
I would say I totally understand. And I mean, after like spending a couple of years over there,
yes,
and from time to time, and I told myself I try to be a be a bridge.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, to connect both sides. Right. For example, this night I came back home, and I'm showing my pictures. Those pictures I took in Europe.
Of course.
And the moment when I was there,
yeah.
right, and I told lots of stories about my home city. And that's really true. Like lots of my Czech friends,
yes.
and they came to Taipei to study Chinese.
Okay.
And I just introduced them to my very good Taiwanese friends, and some of my Taiwanese friends, they came to Prague.
Yes.
And I introduced them to my very good Czech friends.
Yes.
So it's really nice to see like they are like getting along pretty well with each other, and just like or even by like watching them like chatting with each other. And I would say it's kind of, I mean, it's a lovely thing to see.
Of course.
And I just try to put like both sides together, and yeah, I just try to be a bridge.
Yes.
And as for photography, and I would say I'm a person, I mean myself, and I just want to share like what I saw,
yes.
what I felt over there with my fellow people, to tell them, oh, like actually the life in the other side of the world
yes.
could be so different. Right? But I mean, sometimes the topics I'm dealing with, I mean, in my photography, it's kind of tough sometimes.
Okay.
But I'm not going to tell them like how difficult it was. I mean, the moment when I was like photographing,
okay.
right? But I just want to share them those images, and
yes.
mainly they're like kind of like social issue concerned. And hopefully, once people, I mean, both sides, and they saw the image and they started to talk about it, this kind of social issue.
Yes.
And I would say it's one of my main goals.
Okay.
To raise the issue. That's like.
Of course.
Yeah.
And also the fact is, you mentioned, you've traveled quite a bit of number of places, before you settled down in Prague. You were one time in India, also for extensive period of time.
Right.
Can you share with us your experience in India? And how did that help you in terms of your development process as a professional photographer?
Right. It's like, for sure I'm going back to India.
Okay, good. It's a fascinating country.
Totally.
I've been there once.
Yeah,
it's a little better than Prague. Yes.
It's like India is India.
Yes.
And it's totally unique.
Yes.
And to be honest, the first time I went there, and I wasn't ready for the place.
Because you're younger, or is because you didn't know much about the country?
Because it's India.
Okay. Right.
It's like, I mean, maybe, okay, it was, I think, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
A couple of years in Prague.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say, okay, I got that kind of European manner. I mean, as a photographer, we're doing photographing, right? We're taking pictures of people. And the moment I went there, it's like maybe I think too much.
Okay.
Right? It's like, okay, if I'm going to take a picture of this person, right, maybe, I got to talk to her first, or to, gain certain trust. And then, okay, I photograph. But the thing is, there's so many people over there, too many, right? And another thing I realized, like, they really don't care. And you go there, and you can come so close, you press the shutter, and they won't realize, like, what they're doing, right? But that's what I meant by, I still, in the beginning, I mean, I still use my European photographer manner.
Okay.
It's like I wouldn't say too much respect. You need the respect, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I thought too much.
Okay.
Right. So I mean, I enjoy talking with people. Right. But every time you met someone on the street, I say, "Hey, how are you, sir?
Yes.
Which country do you belong, sir? Which country do you belong?" And it took you lots of energy.
Of course.
Right. So like, I always remember the first night. I couldn't wait. I went back to my hotel room, and I locked the door, and I was like, "Whew, thanks God, I'm safe now."
Oh, okay.
That doesn't mean it's a dangerous place, but people there are very nice. And it's something we don't have nowadays anymore.
Okay.
And that's a place as if you went through the time tunnel.
Okay.
You went back to like 100 years ago. It used to be like that, but it remains like that in India.
Okay.
And it's like you got to be, ready for the place. And it's definitely a challenge for me.
Okay.
And I decided, I prepared to go back anyway. And the moment is like I was photographing some special event, like millions of people. They went to the Ganga River, like millions of people. I mean, I never saw, so many people at once at one place, never ever.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like.
Okay,
yeah.
But in terms of your photography, you kind of project the notion that time
Right.
It's of it's an element, of course, but it's not a determining element. It is a continuous process.
Right.
How do you then bridge the distance in time, in distance when you do your photography?
Understand, that's what people say, right? It's like the moment you press the shutter,
yes,
it's just like less than 1 second, actually.
Yes.
Right. But once you look at the whole thing,
yeah.
and that's my personal belief.
Okay.
Like not only for photography, I mean many things.
Yes.
It's
other
like
things as well.
Yeah, like that the French sculpture, that Rodin, that thinker guy, and he mentioned some things like only the things or the work made with time, the time will respect that.
Okay.
And I suppose, I mean, that's the thing I've been working on for a long time. It's like, I mean, I got to spend the time, right? It's like, but it's like, that's the thing, like many young people right now, they want to become like famous artists, like overnight.
Yeah.
Well, they think about, oh, it's a great concept.
Yes.
And I go to take a picture, like in 5 minutes, it's done, right?
I mean, fast food culture.
Sort of. But that's the thing, is like, I mean, I'd rather to spend at least a few months or a few years with like my mentor in Prague. And he spent like 60 years like photographing one city.
Yes, one city.
And that's something I truly admire or really appreciate.
Okay.
But it should be like that. You saw like in Taipei this time, I saw some like old ladies like making this like noodle soup like early in the morning. And I didn't take any picture. I just like standing over there
just
and
watch
cook.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like early in the morning, through the whole day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Well, Simon, we're going to take another short break, and we'll be right back to the Taiwan Outlook, and we'll continue to explore the different themes that Simon has, employed in his photography. I'll see you in about 3 minutes.